It's filthy. Hey, shalom, shalom. Let me scoot up to this microphone. Hey, shalom, shalom. Still a little filthy. Shalom. Salaki. Give me 1 second. All right, shalom. Yahweh Shem Thumb to all the brothers. Yahweh Shamar Alathan B'Hashem Yahweh. Shout out to all the sisters. I'm preaching officer 5000 Malak. I'm the camp leader here in Kansas City. Today is the Sunday history class. You understand? And today, of course, is Memorial Day. So we'll be going over Memorial Day. You'll have to forgive me for my voice. If anyone can't hear, just make sure I'm taking these off, man. Salaki. These things are filthy. Salaki. If there's anyone who cannot hear, just let me know. Everyone understand? Let me know if you cannot hear, and I'll make sure I try to speak into the mic a little better. But nonetheless, we're going to go ahead and get into it. This is the Sunday history class. Go ahead and clap it up. All right. And today is, like I just said, today is Memorial Day, and we're going to talk about Memorial Day. We're going to go into the history of Memorial Day here in America. I believe in the UK they have Armistice Day, right? But here in America we have Memorial Day. We're going to go over the history of Memorial Day, how it was, created, who created it. You understand? And then we're going to go into why it's so unjust. We're going to go into serving an unjust nation, right? Because of course, today, like so many other of our oppressors' holidays, we as Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, we also feel entitled to celebrate their days because we believe that we're American. Integration did something absolutely terrible to us, man. Integration made us think that we are together. It made us believe that we are one. You get my point? It made us, Dr. King, the witchcraft. If anyone ever wanted to know the witchcraft of integration, the demon of integration, it made us believe that we are American. It made the tribe of Judah, the so-called Negroes. It made the so-called North American Indian. It made the Puerto Ricans and the Dominicans and the Mexicans believe that we are one, that we are one people. Like Mays, Frankie Beverly and Mays has that song, We Are One. Did you know that song was about being integrated, was about stopping hate? Now, just keep that in mind. That's another thing to do with integration. That music can be a demon. Think about how many songs. I think Michael Jackson had a song like that. Michael Jackson had a song about how we were one, we're together, all of that garbage. It's always a Black musician, a Black artist. You understand? That's always pushing that is always pushing integration. We are the ones who are always pushing to love our oppressor, to want to be loved by our oppressor. We always push that, so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. Our oppressor never has to sing songs about coming together. Our oppressor never has to march. Our oppressor never has to fight and die just so we could be integrated, just so we could be equal. That is a Black concept, a Hispanic concept. And one of the, Salakia, one of the demons, one of the lies of integration is that we are together. We're one. And we are not together. We are not one. Everyone understand it. We're going to go into that today, how you're serving an unjust nation. You so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians who are in our oppressors' military. We're going to go over some stories of Black men and women who served in our oppressors' military. And we'll see how that treated them when they were released, when they were discharged out of our oppressors' military. Because it was another lie told during integration that we should fight for this country, right? During the Civil War, Black men fought for this country. During the Revolutionary War, Black men fought for this country. During World War I, World War II, Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians fought for this country, and there was nothing done for them. That's another thing. We're going to go into the Navajo Code Talkers. Shalom, sis. Yahweh Shema Alathan Salakia. Yahweh Shema Alathan B'Hashem Yahweh Shah. You have to forgive my voice, sis. And for anyone else that's watching, y'all forgive my voice, man. We were out there at camp in Chicago, Illinois yesterday. Give Chicago a hand. Give Captain Morrow Quad and all the brothers that are in the Midwest zone a hand, man. We had an amazing time yesterday in Chicago. Just getting back home about 3 hours ago. You understand? I'm tired as hell. The next time we go up to travel to Chicago for camp, we stay in the night, man. So Salakia, I'm getting older. That thing there was rough. I did not know that Chicago had that traffic. I didn't know that downtown Chicago had so much goddamn traffic. I didn't know Chicago was that. Listen, when I was in the oppressor's military, speaking about ignorant black people, so like speaking about black men who serve in the oppressor's military, I was one of those fools who was served in our oppressor's military. And when I was in Great Lake, Illinois, and we were able to visit Chicago after graduation, I had no idea. I ain't been to Chicago in 8 years. What? Oh, yeah, no. 2014. How long ago was that? That was what, 11 years ago? I haven't been to Great Lakes in 11 years. And even a couple of years ago, when we went up there to the Chicago cookout for the Midwest Fire Weekend, I never noticed the downtown of Chicago was so packed. Now, of course, it's Memorial Day weekend, and they had sueños going on for the I.S.U.P.K. There's a lot of I.S.U.P.K in Chicago. You understand? A lot. And I never noticed the city. And brother, me and Elisha was getting irritated just to get to camp because Satan, it was like Satan did not want us to go to camp. Those idiots, I don't know how they constructed and architecturally designed Chicago, but it is not like New York, right? New York is a little different because New York, you're encouraged to walk. You're not encouraged to really drive in New York. In Chicago, everybody's driving. It's a big city. What has it got? 5-6 million people. It's a huge city. It's right there on the lake. It's a beautiful city. Amazing brothers and sisters come from Chicago. I'm not speaking against the brothers and sisters that are from Chicago, but what I am saying is, brother, I was pissed off. So like you're Satan, brother, he got a way to get under your skin. Now, Chicago traffic is no joke, but that's on. Oh, sis, you're from Chicago. Who would have guessed? I had no clue. Salakia, Most High in Christ says Chicago traffic is no joke, but that's home. Damn right, says Most High in Christ. Well, listen, sis, this is your home now. You understand? Of course, Chicago is the home of your natural birth. But listen, sis, when you earn your Hebrew name, 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, that becomes your new home. Salakia. But Chicago has amazing brothers and sisters. You get my point. And amazing brothers and sisters come from Chicago, like the sister that's watching class. And like so many other brothers and sisters, like Captain Marquard and the brothers up there in the Chicago camp. Those are hardcore men and hardcore sisters that are in that camp. Everyone understand? Damn right, says Most High in Christ. But listen, that Chicago traffic was hell lot. It was absolute hell. And the point I'm making is I never paid attention to it. And so we're trying to get to camp. And just to go from point A to point B in downtown, brother, it took us about 30 minutes. So I'm sitting there. If I look tired, if I sound crazy, you know what I mean? I got a chance and an honor and a privilege to speak at the Chicago camp yesterday on the Magnificent Mile. Most High in Christ for that. And we just got back about 20 minutes ago. You understand? Me and Elisha just got back early this morning. You understand? So if I sound like this, please forgive me. You understand? Please forgive me. But nonetheless, Most High in Christ. But nonetheless, I was one of those same, what's the word I'm looking for? Impressionable. Being a young black man in America, you're very, very impressionable. Being a young black woman in America, you're very, very impressionable. Why do I say that? Why do I make that point? Because so many of our people joined the oppressor's military. You understand? So many of our people ignorantly join the oppressor's military, whether it's the Navy, whether it's the Marine Corps, whether it's the Army, Air Force, Space Force, the Coast Guard. We are lied to. And because we're lied to, we believe that we are doing ourselves and our country an honor and serving our country, when this is what is so very important. This land is not our land. This land is not our country. We have a home. In fact, let me get that first. Right? We have a home, and it is not America. Everyone understand, America is not the place of our rest. And that's the first key in understanding Memorial Day. Before we go into the history of Memorial Day, we have to first understand it is an honorable thing for someone to fight for something, like the men in the UPK under commanding General Yahanna. That's an honorable thing to fight. For men to see something that is worth fighting for, that is worth dying for, and that is worth protecting. That's an honorable thing. And that's an honorable man that wants to do something like that. Like the soldiers in the UPK, that's honorable. But what we have to understand, being in the world, our people need to know that America is not our rest. This place is not our rest. Everyone understand? This is the land of our captivity. Everyone get it? All right. Let's go to Micah. All right, let's go to Micah chapter 2, verse 10. All right. Remember, today's topic is Memorial Day. And this also goes for all of you brothers and sisters who want to celebrate Memorial Day today. You have a loved one that died, some father, some mother, some family member that died and that deserve honor, that deserve remembrance. We're going to go into that as well. We're going to go into how to remember someone. It's not on the day that your slave master says to remember them. And that's the step one. That's step one to understanding that. But there is an honor that's due for someone who's died, someone who is a man or woman of honor. They've died, they were loved, and now they're buried and they're gone. There's a way to honor them and to remember them, and we'll go into that at the end of class. Everyone understand? But first, let's get to Micah chapter 2, verse 10. All right. This is Micah chapter 2, verse 10. Arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest, because it is polluted. It shall destroy you, even with a sore destruction. Listen, man, so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, the first thing you brothers and sisters who are out there who love America, who pledge allegiance to the flag, who vote, who served in our oppressors' military, or who want to serve in our oppressors' military, the first step is understanding this. Arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest. America is not your rest. What does that mean? Meaning this is not your home. What place is your rest? Your home. That's why the sister, when I brought up that amazing city of Chicago, that she said, that's my home. Let's go back. The sister said, Chicago traffic is no joke, but that's home. Listen, sis. Well, listen, when you're home, what do? You rest. Everyone understand? God is telling the children of Israel that America is not your rest. Assyria is not your rest. Egypt is not your rest. Rome is not your rest. Greece is not your rest. These places, the UK, Mexico, Puerto Rico, the Dominican Republic, El Salvador, those places are not our rest. Everyone understand? It's not our home. It's not the place that God wants us to relax. What also is this teaching us? This is teaching us that we should be circumspect. If you're somewhere that you're not comfortable with, if you live somewhere that is not your rest, what are you supposed to do? How do you behave in that land? You're supposed to be circumspect. You're supposed to keep your head on a swivel. You're supposed to watch your surroundings. You're not supposed to be comfortable. You can't get comfortable in America. We can't get comfortable in Mexico. We can't get comfortable in Brazil and the United Kingdom. We can't get comfortable here. Why? Because it's not our rest. This isn't our home. Everyone understand? Because it is polluted. Jesus Christ, out America. Another thing we saw, and this is something always you see when you travel and doing the work of the Lord, as you're in the truth and you go places, you start to see things through a different lens. I guarantee you, while I was in the world and I went over to Dubai and I went to Italy and France and blah, 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 in this country and that country, one of the things that you notice in the world is the beauty of these other countries. When I went to Dubai, I was a young man in Dubai. I was so enamored and infatuated with the city of Dubai. I mean, I loved the architect. I loved how they constructed the city. I love the luxurious living that they live over there, the lifestyle they live. I love the culture of Dubai when I was in the world. But as you come into the truth, you get less carnal. You understand? You start to get less carnal. You don't see things the way that people in the world see things. Let me tell you something, my guys. We were in Chicago. People in the world see cities like Chicago. They see cities like New York and Miami and Los Angeles. They see them for what they are. But the priests and prophets of the Most High God, we see in the fourth dimension. We see the drug addiction that pollutes the city, that pollutes the people. We see the cities like New Orleans and Atlanta that have a demon of homosexuality there. You understand? We see the demon or the lust that is over this city when you're in the truth. When you spend some winters in the truth as a priest and prophet of God, you start to see things through a spiritual lens. You don't see things from a carnal perspective. I can guarantee you, if I were to go back to Dubai right now, there would be so much that I would see that I would hate about the city of Dubai because I'm not in the world anymore. And so my mind is not worldly. I don't have a carnal mind. You start to break away from your flesh. You start to see the lust that the city provides you. You start to see the way that the cities are polluted. Well, America is the same. Here you are, when you're in the world, you're excited to be an American. You want to join the oppressor's military, don't you? You see the brothers and sisters coming back in their dress blue uniforms, their dress white uniforms. That's the first thing I noticed when I went to Chicago. Chicago has Great Lakes, Illinois, which is what, 40 minutes away from downtown Chicago? And that is where the United States Navy's RTC Recruit Training Command is located. And the first thing I noticed was sailors. I noticed American sailors, and I saw them in their NSUs and their dress whites and their dress blues for Memorial Day. And they were black, and I saw some who were Hispanic. And as I'm looking at these black and Hispanic men and women in their dress blues, the one thing that you notice about them is how proud they were to don the oppressor's uniform, how proud they were to be an American. When they say colors and they salute that flag, there is a pride that you get from being American. You feel American, don't you? You feel like you're a part of this democratic society. You feel like you're a part of the American flag. You feel like you're a part of democracy. You feel like you're a part of this republic. And that's the honor that you feel. That's the glory that you feel when you don that uniform in the oppressor's military when you're in the world. You feel a sense of pride. You feel a sense of accomplishment. Well, listen, this is what you don't see. This is what you don't get. This is what you don't feel. You don't feel polluted. You don't feel disgusted. You don't feel polluted by the acts of slavery 400 years ago. You are putting on the same uniform as representing the same country that enslaved your forefathers. You don't feel disgusted by that. You see that? When you put on that oppressor's, Esau's military's uniform, when you put on America's NWUs, NSUs, when you put those BDUs on, you don't feel ashamed of slavery. You don't feel ashamed to be black. You don't feel ashamed to be Hispanic. Here you are, a Mexican in the United States military, at the same time that America is literally persecuting the Mexican people, unaliving the Mexican people, deporting your Mexican brothers and sisters, and you serve them and salute their flag and put on their uniform. You don't feel polluted because you're carnal. You don't see things the way we do as the priests and prophets of God in the UPK. We don't see things through a carnal lens. We see things for what they are. We see the pollution in America. Everyone understand? We see the sin in America. We see the destruction in America, the cruelty of America, the murder of America, the crimes of America, the sins of America. We see those things in the UPK. So we would never put on an oppressor's military uniform. We would never join his force. We would never join our oppressor. We would never salute his flag because the land had fallen to pollution. What's that pollution? Slavery. That's that pollution. The Spanish conquistadors. That's the pollution. The Native American Indian reservations. That's that pollution. The murder of Emmett Till. The murder of Sandra Bland. The rape of Reese Taylor. The rape of the slaves. The destruction of the Mexicans. The destruction of the Taino Indians. That is the pollution of this land. That's the pollution here in America. Now here we are serving in his military, feeling proud to be an American citizen, and we don't see what America really is. That's the demon or witchcraft of integration. That's the witchcraft of Christianity. We all bleed red. That's the detriment of that philosophy, the detriment of that mindset. We all bleed red. God loves everybody. God is a just God in the Christian church. The same God who's going to have your grandmother and the slave master in the same heaven is the just same God in the Christian church. Go figure. In the Christian church, Adolf Hitler and the Jewish people that Adolf Hitler was persecuting, they're going to go to the same heaven. Reese Taylor and the white men that raped Reese Taylor will be in the same heaven in the Christian church. The God of the Christian church is an unjust God. If the woman who was raped and the rapist go to the same heaven, that would make God unjust. How do the slaves in America ever receive justice if the slave master never pays for his crime? How does the sister who was raped by the rapist ever receive justice if the man who raped her receives the same reward as her? God would be unjust. The God of the Christian church is an unjust God. And so you're not able to see the pollution of America. You're not able to see the pollution of this world, the whoring that America have given to our sisters, the license that America has given to Black and Hispanic women to murder their babies in Planned Parenthood, to rip a child out of their womb like an animal. That is what the pollution of America is, the destruction of Black men. Here you are donning your oppressor's Navy working uniform, his Marine Corps dress blues, his Army BDUs, and your father was sold crack in the 80s. Your mother was sold crack in the 90s. Your sons were put to death by the hands of the police since slavery, and you feel proud to be an American. That's the pollution of this place. That's the demonic, that's the demon of the Christian church. That is the demon of integration. We don't see the spiritual world. We don't see without carnality. We just see what this place really is. Or Salakia, we don't see what this place really is. We see America how tourists see America, the land of the free, the home of the brave. That's how we look at it from a carnal lens in the world. We don't see all of the destruction and the pollution that America has built this country off of. We don't see that. We see, I pledge allegiance to the flag. That's what we see, man. God said this, because it is polluted, it shall destroy you, even with a sore destruction. The Lord our God, he has tried for millenniums to warn Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. He's tried to give us a fair warning on why we should not join hands with our oppressor, why we should not join our oppressor, why we should not fight for our oppressor, why we should not trust our oppressor. And do you know what the religious Black leaders have done since Korah and Dathan and the princes of the assembly, since we came out of Egypt? They've always taught us to do the opposite of what the Most High God have already told us not to do. They told us to go back to Egypt when the Most High God said to come out of her, my people. They teach you to get high and God will love you no matter what, even though the Bible says, I hated sinners. They teach you God loves everybody, even though the Bible says, only you have I known of all the families of the earth. The Christian religious leaders are worthless, and they teach us the opposite of what God have tried to warn us. They teach us the opposite of what the Bible says. They teach us the opposite of what the priests and prophets of God have said. They're unjust. They're unclean. They're polluted by the pollution of America. And so we should get away from the Christian church. We should get away from the ideology of Christianity, the doctrine of Christianity, the doctrine of Islam, the doctrine of America, the philosophy of this democratic state. We should separate from it. We should get away from it. We should unpollute our minds. We should be clean. We should get whole. We should get healed. How many symptoms until you go see a doctor? What else is left for America to do to your people before you wake up and realize we are in hell? We are destroyed. We are polluted. We are dying. We are suffering. We're living in squalor. How long will it take? How long will it take? What else needs to happen before you wake up? Rodney King was beat half to death. Your sons lose their lives like Trayvon Martin. Your daughters lose their lives like Breonna Taylor. What else needs to happen before you open your eyes? Get away from this place. It's polluted and it shall destroy you, even with the sword destruction. Slavery was a sword destruction. The war against black men was a sword destruction. The crack epidemic was a sword destruction. The AIDS epidemic was a sword destruction. The war against black babies at Planned Parenthood, that's a sword destruction. The war against redlining and the housing crisis of black Americans is a sword destruction. The Spanish conquest of the islands of Taino and Mexico and Dominican Republic, those were sword destructions. God tried to give us a warning, but the church said God loves everybody. God tried to send us a warning, but the pastor said, woman, thou art loose. God tried to give us a warning, but your pastor said, God knows your heart. It's time to separate from America. It's time to separate from the Christian church. We have to get our minds away from this place, man. We got to stop believing America loves us. That's today. Memorial Day, you're going to honor your dead on the day your slave master tells you to honor your dead. You can honor your dead any other day. Everyone understand? You can honor your dead tomorrow. You can honor them September the 11th, September the 15th, December 1st, June 1st. You do it on the day your oppressor tells you. Why? Because we're still slaves. Because you think you're an American. And that's the problem, brothers and sisters. Everyone understand? Now let's go to let's drop that. Let's go to the history of Memorial Day. How about we do that? All right, let's go to the history of Memorial Day. Do I want that article? Here we go, right here. All right, the history of Memorial Day. All right. Share screen. All right, this is Memorial Day, and this is the history of Memorial Day. All right, here we go. Memorial Day is an American holiday observed on the last Monday of May, honoring the men and women who died while serving in the United States military. Memorial Day 2025 falls on Monday, which is tomorrow, May 26th. I keep saying today is Memorial Day. I apologize. Tomorrow is Memorial Day. That's my mistake. That's my mistake. Tomorrow is our oppressor's Memorial Day, not today. Nonetheless, it's Memorial Day weekend. Everyone understand? And your aunts and uncles are going to have a barbecue and get drunk. And they're somehow that's how they remember their dead. They remember their dead the same way white men remember their dead, by throwing a big party and getting drunk. That is not how Israelites remember their dead. That's not how we honor our dead, the way our oppressor does. Everyone understand? But this is what's so important. This is what I really wanted you to see about this article. It says Memorial Day, as everyone knows, is an American holiday. Remember, I said I believe that UK has a Memorial Day, but it's called Armistice Day, if I'm not mistaken. All right, after World War I. And so it says Memorial Day is an American holiday observed on the last Monday of May, honoring the men and women who died while serving in the U.S. military. Does everyone see that? Memorial Day is about honoring the men and women who served America, who died in the military to protect and defend the Constitution of the United States of America. Can I ask you a question? Who are the people? How can I word this? Who died for America? What are the people? Who are the people in the oppressor's military, in America's military, that died? Now, I know with this question, I'm going to have to give you the answer. Unless somebody is able to answer this, I'm going to have to give you the answer, because it's kind of, it's in your face. It's right in front of your face. If you're following class this morning or this afternoon, it's right in front of your face. But who are the people who died in the oppressor's military? What I'm asking is, this is going to give you the answer, but what I'm asking is, did only white people die to defend America and the oppressor's military? Did only our oppressor die for America? That's what I'm asking. Did only white people die to defend America? Or did blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians also die to defend America? That's my question. All right. Did white people, are they the only people, race of people who died for America? Oh, let's see. This is what I need right here. Ooh wee. Let me see if I got an answer in class. I do not have an answer. Okay, no sweat. Only white people died, I guess, to save America, right? Remember, tomorrow is Memorial Day, and the oppressor, he has set up a holiday. This is it right here. He has set up a holiday, established a holiday to honor the men and women who died while serving this country, who died in their military. Was there only white men and women who died in the oppressor's military? That's what I want. Let's see. Here we go. Yeah. All right. No, our oppressor was not the only one to die in the military, in America's military. You mean to tell me there weren't black soldiers, Hispanic soldiers, Native Indian soldiers? Have anyone ever heard of the Navajo Code Talkers? We're going to get to them in 1 second. Have anyone ever heard of the Navajo Code Talkers? Have anyone ever heard of the Mexicans fighting in World War I and World War II? There's so many black people who exclude the Latinos. Because, and I know you get it from white people. White people hate the Latinos, so you hate them, right? That's an easy thing to do. That's what I spoke about at camp yesterday. It's so easy to hate your people because everyone hates your people. So it's easy for you to do it, even though you live right next to your people, even though you are black, even though you are Hispanic. It's very easy to fall in the trap of hating your own people because you're carnal, because you've been polluted by America. You understand? Because you've been polluted by America, it's easy for you to hate your brothers and your sisters. It's easy for you to dismiss the honor of your forefathers the way America dismisses the honor of your forefathers. It's easy for you to forget about slavery. It's easy for you to forget about Breonna Taylor. It's easy for you to forget about Emmett Till because you hate Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian people because America hates Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. It's easy to do that. But what I'm teaching you today is to never forget the days of old. That's in the Bible. As a matter of fact, we ain't got to pull it, right? But in the Bible, in Deuteronomy, let's go ahead. Yeah, how about that? How about we pull that, right? Remember the days of old. And that's in Deuteronomy. Everyone understand? Remember the days of old. The Bible teaches us, although tomorrow is Memorial Day for our oppressor, remember that. This is our oppressor's holiday, not our holiday. And even though tomorrow our oppressor remembers their dead, there is an honor that you give the brothers and sisters who sacrificed their lives for you. It's an honor you give them. Everyone understand? The Most High God is not a God that wants us to forget. It's 32. Yeah, 32. Deuteronomy chapter 32 and verse 7, right? The Most High God is not a power that wants us to forget. He's a good father. He wants us to remember our elderly. He wants us to remember our dead. He wants us to remember the generations that came before us. You understand? Here we go. Let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 32, verse 7. This is Deuteronomy chapter 32 and verse 7. Remember the days of old. Consider the generations. Salakia. Consider the years of many generations. Ask thy father, and he will show thee, thy elders, and they will tell thee. The Bible says for us to remember the days of old. Our problem in America, being Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian, is we're taught by the Christian church to forget about our past, to forget about it, to forget about slavery, to let bygones be bygones, to forget about all of the atrocities that happened to our people. We're the only people who are taught that. And do you know where the Christian church gets it from? They get it from this right here. This is where they get it from. Right here. Remember, Memorial Day is honoring the dead veterans who died for America. Well, white people weren't the only veterans, brothers. White people weren't the only veterans, sister. You know who else were veterans? Jackie Robinson. Salaki, that's my voice. I told y'all, I gotta forgive me. That Chicago Kent, brother. You understand? Most High in Christ. Give me 1 second. Salaki, bear with me. Yeesh. Okay, Jackie Robinson. Anybody know who the hell he is? Salakia. I know you do, right? Jackie Robinson. He was a brother who served in our oppressor's military during World War II, fighting against them damn Nazis and that Germany and Hitler, right? He was one of those brothers who fought against Hitler and was an officer and was decorated. This is what this article says. Let's read it. It says, okay, here we go. 7 years ago, I wrote a column about an 11-year-old black girl, Salakia, who was turned away from her Catholic elementary school near New Orleans because she showed up with her hair braided with extensions. About halfway through, I included what I believe to be an unobjectionable statement. As black people's hair is genuinely different from white people's, any hair policy needs to be carefully considered, lest it make some students vulnerable to breaking a rule that others couldn't conceivably break. A reader responded with a comment that was completely out of right field, but still illuminating. What if Donald Trump said this? As black people's hair is genuinely different from white people's, would a column be forthcoming about him making racist, divisive remarks? But black people's hair is generally different from white people's. That's a fact. The reader's comment, let's go down. But when you don't acknowledge that people are different, you get outrages such as the interim guidance announced by the Marines this month. Marines who have pseudo folliculitis barbae, the fancy name for razor bumps, can now be separated, that is discharged, if it isn't resolved in a year's time. Does anybody know what this is describing? I was in the oppressor's military. I know exactly what this is. When brothers shave, right, they call it pseudo because the oppressor doesn't believe it's real, even though 90% of niggas in the United States Navy that I knew of all got shaving bumps. Now, I'm some old Gadite, so I never really grew facial hair until I started to do the work of God. I come in here, brothers would vex me about being a Gadite. Nigga, you ain't no Judite. You can't grow hair. Officer Thumayum and a Warrior and a Kamaya. I'm telling on them today. They would, man, you a Gadite, Malak. You some old Gadite. I couldn't even grow facial hair. I barely got it now. Damn. So I was a brother, thanks to my mother's Gadite genes. I was a brother who never really could grow a beard like a glorious Judite should be able to. So like you, or a Levite or a Benjamite, right? And so because of that, I didn't suffer from that pseudo folliculitis. I didn't suffer from that garbage. But what that is razor bumps. It's extreme razor bumps. I can see if I can show you a picture, right? And whenever brothers, of course, when you're in the oppressor's military, which our oppressor gets from Rome, where brothers have to shave clean. You're humiliating a man by making a grown man shave his face bald. The oppressor gets that from Rome. The Romans called the Israelites barbarians, right? The word barbaric means abagada. Barbaric is a word that white Romans used to describe the children of Israel because of the way our Hebrew sounds. Barbarian is the onomatopoeic sounds that our language inflicts. So you know how Hebrew is ba, ga, da, ha, wa. It's like a baby. Ba, ba, ba. That's where the word barbarian comes from. We are the barbarians. That's a Hebrew Israelite, a barbarian. That's why the Romans called us that, because of our language. And they said that we were unkept and unclean because we didn't shave our faces. The men always had glorious beards like Aaron. The Bible says in Psalms 133:1, behold how good and how pleasant it is for brethren to dwell together in unity. It's like the ointment, the oil flowing through Aaron's beard. Aaron was a Levite priest, a Levite brother from the tribe of Levi, a Haitian today. And that brother had a glorious beard, like so many of our brothers, right, can grow glorious beards. Well, our oppressor, through his ignorance, he makes brothers shave through his humiliation and his denigration of black men and Hispanic men. He makes them shave clean when they go fight for the oppressor's military. But over time, after the Vietnam War, America began to allow soldiers to not shave, right? They didn't have to shave all the goddamn time after, I believe, the Vietnam War. But you would have to get something called a no-shave chit. I forget what it's called in Esau's army, but in the oppressor's navy, it's called a no-shaving chit. So you would have to go down to medical. Here you are. And this is another, I used to see brothers do this, and I would feel humiliated for them. I was at my command, and I see brothers having to shave their face just to get the razor bumps, just to get this shit here. So like here, just to get this here. Oh yeah. To get this here, this is what brothers had to do. Where is it at? Right here. Here's a good one right here. Yeah, that's a good one. No, let's go with this one. Let's pull this screen up. All right. Oh, that's giving me the whole article. I don't want that. I just want to see. Can y'all see that? Oh, no, you cannot see that. I didn't share it. Salakia, that's my apologies. Can y'all see this? Right? Brothers had to go in the oppressor's military, humiliate themselves, shave their face clean just so they can get these bumps to go show medical. They had to show some medic down in medical so they can get a no shaving shit. So they couldn't shave for 2 months. I think it lasted 2 months, right? That is absolutely ridiculous. Well, this article says that condition, which they call pseudo phallocytis, right? That condition is what damn near only affects black and Hispanic men because, of course, spiritually, the Most High God doesn't want you to shave, brother. The Most High God doesn't want you to shave. It is very masculine for a man to wear his beard, not be clean shaven, unlike what America have taught us. America have taught us that a man has to be clean shaven. His head, his hair, it's very barbaric for a man to have long hair. It's very barbaric for a man to have a long, glorious beard like Captain Tazariak of the I.S.U.P.K with a glorious beard. All these brothers in here with glorious beards. That's glorious. The Lord finds it glorious. That's why I made that metaphor. King David made that metaphor in Psalms chapter 133, verse 1. He said it's glorious like the precious oil, the ointment that had fallen on Aaron's beard. That's a glorious thing to have a beard for a man. It makes you look like a goddamn man. It doesn't mean that this brother won't be an LGBTQ cat. It does not mean he won't be homosexual, sis. You sisters choose the worst type of men. Only black women, Salaki, if I could diverge for a second. I'm trying to use these big words so I can impress some glasses wearing sister. If I can diverge for a second. Why do black women, how is it that black women will choose the worst man no matter what condition they're in? Like a sister brother, she will get a brother who looks masculine and he will still be gay. She will get a brother who looks effeminate and be gay. Only black women would choose it because it's spiritual. I know sisters don't understand your terrible decision making, but it's spiritual, sis. You're supposed to get a man your father approves of. Or if your father is no longer here or your father wasn't in your life, someone who is a father figure to you, you're supposed to get a man that they approve of. Because a man can see this cat is clearly LGBTQ, like that gorilla Hebrew. That brother had a beard and was getting pegged by his wife, was getting effed by his wife. His wife gave him rod in his backside, and he had a beard that was glorious. So a beard, just because it makes you look masculine, because it's natural for a man to wear a beard and long hair, it doesn't mean that cat won't be a homosexual, sis. You pick men based off of how they look. You pick men based off of how their beards look, how their hair looks, how their smile looks, their eyes. Or I heard a sister say she chose her husband because he wore a size 14. Damn. That sister said, I chose this brother because he had a big shoe. He wore the same size shoe I wear, 14. I said, damn, sis. That's hardcore. Sisters would choose a man based off of anything. And that's what the Bible says. Every woman will have any man. It's the man that does the choosing. Brother, you got to raise better daughters. Sisters, brother, you're going to choose a man with a beard and he's gay. Damn. That's a rough one. Well, a long time ago, having a beard is, you're a grown, fully grown man. You understand? I'm a fully grown man. I got this beard. I got these long braids like Captain Akad of Arrive. He's another one with that glorious hair, glorious beard. That's masculine. Look, sir, in the world, we think we know it all. Dan Rice says, listen, if I could add to that, Salakia says it ain't just when you're in the world. You sisters in the UPK think you know it all too. So like you just hardcore. So the daughters of Commander Yahanna, y'all some rough sisters in here, brother. Y'all hardcore as can be. They think they know it all too. Sister thinks it stops. She thinks once I get my Hebrew name, I won't think I know more than my husband anymore. Yes, you will think you'll know more than your husband. Your husband's gonna say, baby, maybe you shouldn't do that. Okay, no sweat. And you're gonna do, baby, maybe you shouldn't buy more plants. We gotta pay the rent with this check. Maybe you shouldn't use this $1,500 to go buy plants. Maybe you shouldn't use this $8,000 to go get a new car. She's gonna do it anyway because she thinks she knows more than you. She's gonna tell you, well, it's just one plant. We'll make it back. We get there. No sweat. Do whatever you want to do. Do whatever the hell you want to do. Sister's coming here. She's hardcore. She said, look, in the world, we think we know it all. Okay. Oh, bless her heart. You think it stops in the world. Sisters are going to think they know it all when they come into the truth. When you earn that Hebrew name, you're going to still think you know it all. You're going to say, well, my husband told me not to do this. I'm going to do it anyway. Yeah, everyone understand? But no, I'm just joking. I'm messing around. I'm embellishing that just a little bit. Sisters in here are hardcore, amazing. And sisters in the UPK, everything right in life. Everyone understand. But the beards, right? Brothers will get those terrible shaving bumps. And so what this article is saying is, let's go back to it. As much as I love the idea of shaving my face with a razor, I almost never do because the hair that grows back in invariable curls into my skin and causes painful bumps. Anybody who shaves can get razor bumps, but the American College of Osteopathic Dermatology says that pseudofolliculitis barbae occurs in up to 60% of African-American men. An article in American Family Physician says the incidence is as high as 85%. Damn near every nigga gets shaving bumps. This terrible. This is what this article is saying. Now let's keep going down for the point of this article. This is why I pulled this article. Let's go. But these are the types of policies you get when you hold the naive and factually incorrect position that we are all the same and that one size fits all policies are inherently fair. There's a framework that helps leaders of organizations think through policies that might seem fair and neutral on their face, but result in some of an organization having advantages or disadvantages that others don't. Let's keep going down. Let's keep going down. Since Trump has taken office, we've seen the Air Force temporarily remove a training video about the heroic Tuskegee Airmen. We've seen the Department of Defense disparagingly add the letters DEI to the URL of a web page celebrating Army Major General Charles Gavin Rogers, Medal of Honor. Who's Charles Gavin Rogers? He was a black man. Bless her heart. I just can't say it out loud. No, sis. Look, be honest. You can't say it out loud. No sweat, sis. I know it. You don't even have to say it out loud. I know it. You understand? I know Eve. I know how Eve works. You understand? You ain't gonna never listen to your man. Everyone understand? No sweat though. That brother still is gonna love you. I'm sure he's gonna love you and appreciate you and spoil you still, right? Even though you ain't gonna listen to him, it ain't no sweat. He's still gonna love you. Everyone understand? So the article says that the DEI initiative that Donald Trump have imposed on his first 100 days in office, he's made it to where the Air Force have removed all history on the Tuskegee Airmen, right? The Tuskegee Airmen, for those who don't know, those are really who won World War II. Everyone understand? The Tuskegee Airmen were black pilots in the Air Force, and they defeated the German Air Force's bombers during World War II. In order for the Allied forces to invade Germany and to drop bombs on Germany, they had to dominate the air. It's called air superiority. And America gained air superiority in April of 1945. Why is that so important? Because that is when America began to win the war over in Germany. And it was about 3 weeks before Adolf Hitler committed suicide and the Nazi Germans surrendered. So when America gained air superiority, guess who won those bombers or defeated the Germans' air force? The Tuskegee Airmen. The Tuskegee Airmen were the Air Force pilots who would intercept the Army, I keep saying Army, the German Air Force's pilots, and they would shoot them down, right? And they would defend the United States Air Force bombers so that the United States Air Force can drop bombs on Germany over the airfields of Germany so that so that America could progress in the war to win the war. And it's what gained America air superiority, air supremacy in April of 1945. Well, listen, that history I just taught you, America doesn't even want that to be taught. America, Donald Trump in America doesn't want the truth about black pilots in World War II out. They don't want it to be taught. But I thought Memorial Day was about honoring. Let's go back to Memorial Day. All right. Let's go back to Memorial Day. I thought Memorial Day was about honoring soldiers, veterans who died for America. Do you know that the Tuskegee Airmen never lost a bomber? Did everyone know that? The black pilots of the Tuskegee Airmen, they never lost an American bomber. And when I say never, I don't mean like virtually it was one or two that got blown up. I mean that there was 0 bombers from the American Air Force that was ever shot down over Nazi Germany during World War II, thanks to the Tuskegee Airmen. Thanks to the black men who went to Tuskegee, Alabama, and learned how to fly a jet, learned how to fly a plane, a fighter plane in World War II. If it had not been for those black soldiers and black pilots that fought against the German pilots, America could have lost World War II. America could. Remember, Adolf Hitler already defeated Poland. Adolf Hitler already defeated Luxembourg. He already defeated France. He already defeated most of the Eastern Bloc countries. Adolf Hitler was going on a tear. He was already inside of Russia. Do you know that the Germans were right outside of Moscow, Germany, where Joseph Stalin was? That's how powerful the German military was because of German engineering. They had a more superior air force than America. Did you know that? The Germans had a more superior tank force than America, and Germany had superior U-boats compared to the American submarines in World War II. That's real factual history you can look up. Now, if it were not for the black Tuskegee Airmen who never lost a bomber, America could have lost World War II. The Russians were already losing the fight to Nazi Germany. The Polish already lost to Nazi Germany. The Luxembourg already lost. Ukraine already lost. He conquered Ukraine. He took over the airfields, the oil fields in Ukraine. Adolf Hitler did. Adolf Hitler was expanding the Nazi regime, the Third Reich. He was expanding that empire of white supremacy. If it wasn't for black soldiers, if it wasn't for black pilots in World War II, they would have lost. America would have lost. But because black pilots defeated the superior plane in German engineering, America won World War II and the Allied forces. They won World War II. Well, guess what, brother? America doesn't even want to honor them. Shocker. Surprise, surprise. Here you go joining your oppressor's military, and your oppressor doesn't even honor you. You won them World War II. In World War I, there was a group called a platoon called the Harlem Hellfighters. And they would go on the most dangerous missions in France and in Germany. They would go on the most dangerous missions. And there's no remembrance of them anywhere in American military history because Donald Trump signed executive orders to remove DEI, to remove Jackie Robinson's military record, to remove who was this general, to remove, what was his name? Army Major General Charles Gavin Rogers. He was a Medal of Honor, and they temporarily removed the page celebrating Jackie Robinson's service as a second lieutenant in the Army. Brother, that is the honor that America gives to its black veterans. That right there. That's the honor they give you. They just simply forget about you. After you, now don't you feel like an idiot? Don't you feel like a fool? You pledged allegiance to this place, fought for this place, died for this country, and they remember you by forgetting you. Do you understand? That's how bad it is. Now here it is. Let's go to Isaac Woodard. Right? Let's go to Isaac Woodard. All right. Share screen. Here we go. Let's go to Isaac Woodard, right? This says, just for everyone that doesn't know, Isaac Woodard was another black man who fought honorably for America. This was a brother who was a generation after slavery from the South. And just like a lot of black men and women, just like right now, right? When you look at the black people who serve America, it's because they believe that they're a part of something. I know, because that's how I thought. Growing up an ignorant Christian in the world, I thought that this country was mine too. And those old silly Christians, I hate when they do this. This is what they learned from Dr. King. Those old silly Christians say, well, our forefathers fought for this country, so it's rightfully ours too. That's how slaves think. That's how someone with Stockholm syndrome thinks. A free man understands that the land of my captivity, the land of my forefathers' slavery, can never be my land. It can never be mine. We didn't join America because we wanted to willingly. How did black people come over here? We were forced to come over here, dummy. Black Christians think because our forefathers were lynched and raped and picked cotton and sugar cane, it makes this country somehow ours too. You have to be a fool to believe. You have to have Stockholm syndrome to believe that. And that is our condition in this place. Stockholm syndrome. The Mexicans have Stockholm syndrome. The Latinos have Stockholm syndrome. The West Indians have Stockholm syndrome. You think this place belongs to you simply because your forefathers were slaves here, because your forefathers were forced over here in the bowels of slave ships, covered in piss and feces and period blood, to put on plantation to pick cotton to build America. Somehow you think that makes this place yours too. That's the detriment of that philosophy and doctrine of Christianity. Because now, as you're young, you're black and Hispanic, and you're coming up in America, even though you see Trayvon Martin get shot and killed, even though you see a white man standing outside of a grocery store waiting to kill every black person and Hispanic he sees, even though you see Dylan Storm Roof go on purpose to a black church to unalive all of the parishioners in the church, you still somehow, you want to be American. Somehow when 4th of July comes around, you get this nostalgic feeling. You think that Constitution belongs to you too. That's what that idiot Dr. King said in one of his speeches. What did he say? If I can get it right. Dr. King said, somewhere I read on paper that, I forget how it goes. I used to know all them speeches because I was raised Christian. Right? I used to know all his speeches, and I forget what he said. I forget exactly what he said, but he said something to the effect of, somewhere I read that all men, that's what he said. Somewhere I read that all men are created equal. Dr. King read the Constitution, and his dumb ass thought, now listen, Dr. King was a theologian. He had a PhD in philosophy and theology. He went to school. He was in college since he was 14 years old, and somehow still he was a dummy. He was so educated, like all of you Christian pastors. I'm the doctor of theology of this and philosophy of this. And somehow you read the Constitution and think that when it says all men are created equal, that is talking about you. That is not talking about you. Black people were picking cotton when the Constitution was written, when the preamble and the Declaration of Independence were written. How in the hell could that be talking about you when your forefathers were getting the cotton picked for George Washington and Thomas Jefferson? How the hell was that talking about you? But when you have Stockholm syndrome and you love your captor, you start to think that you're him. You think that America belongs to you. So when your dumbass reads the Constitution, you think that all men created equal is talking about black people. That's what you think, because you're a dumb Christian and no one ever taught you that this land is not the land of your rest. This land is not the land of your forefathers. No one's ever taught you that in church. And so you think that this is your country. And what do? You go sign your name at 18 years old. That should be illegal. Salakia. You go sign your name at 18 years old, 17 years old, with your parents' consent on serving America in their military. I remember being so happy. I got that goddamn feeling of, I was so goddamn happy. I was happy, like I'm doing something with my life. I ain't like the brothers around my neighborhood in the ghetto on 24th in Michigan that's dying and going to jail. Like so many of my friends at 18 lost friends dead in the streets selling drugs, getting high. I'm thinking to myself, I'm doing something with my life by going to serve America, by going to fight for my country. Oh, it's your country, isn't it, black man? My country, 'tis of thee, sweet land of liberty with thee I say. Land of where my fathers died, land of the pilgrim's pride. From every mountainside, let freedom ring. You thought that belonged to you, don't you? You thought when it said that every man is given the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, you believe that that was talking about you. That's what you thought. What did the sister say? Right. I had a give Sister Mariah my hand. Listen, sis, we all were ignorant in the world. I had a party and everything, only to find out I was silly for ever going. Damn right. She's just like me. She's just like me. I was a goddamn idiot. I'm in the oppressor's Navy. And I'm sitting there looking, number one, for you cats who were never in the oppressor's military, it is Caligula in there. It is goddamn Rome in the oppressor's military. I have never seen so much lasciviousness. And I'm from the ghetto. Do you understand? I went to Bishop Hogan here in Kansas City. I've seen nasty sluts and whores. I've seen prostitutes walk up and down the goddamn street where I'm from here in Kansas City. What, Elijah? Since we were, 8 years old? Since we were 8, 9 years old, we saw women, perform fellatio on some man in the projects, some prostitute. I've seen men sell dope and get shot and die and get killed right in front of my house, right there on 24th of Michigan in Kansas City. And I have never seen such lasciviousness like I did when I was in the oppressor's military. The lust and it makes you want to vomit. And here you are, before that, you are 18, 17-year-old impressionable young black girl or man. And you thinking, I'm doing something with my life. I'm joining the oppressor's military. I'm honoring, you think you're honoring yourself. I'm going to be better than those people who are on my block. I'm going to honor myself, honor my family. I'm going to use the GI. You know what niggas think? I'm going to use that GI Bill to go to college. And them niggas never go to college. Did you know that? They're going to they join in the oppressor's military to get a GI Bill or a VA loan and a GI Bill so they can go and get a free education. Do they ever do it? Hell no. Why don't I ever see you black veterans go be neurosurgeons, pediatric neurosurgeons? You don't do it because you don't use the GI Bill. You get out of the oppressor's military and you get that 100% disability from the VA, and you're just going to use it to buy drugs and prostitutes the same way you use that check every 2 weeks to buy drugs and prostitutes while you were in the military. Nothing changed. Nothing changed. You thought you were joining the military to be better than the people on your block. You joined the oppressor's military and you became the people on your block. You became the same whore that you tried to get away from being. You became a drug dealer. You became a lascivious, lustful piece of garbage, the same brothers that were on your block. Those brothers and sisters in the oppressor's military, they are just as bad as the ones who never joined the oppressor's military. But when you're young and impressionable, here you are happy and, hell, man, I'm going to boot camp. When you leave for boot camp, then you count down the days to leave for boot camp. If I had known what I do now, brother, I would have went to go be a pediatric neurosurgeon. Salakia. What in the hell am I doing in the oppressor's military? Because you think that you're American. You have Stockholm syndrome. You understand? you think that this country belongs to you. Well, let me show you what this country did to black veterans. Let me show you. This is, what's his name? Isaac Woodard, right? This is Isaac Woodard. Is this going to tell me? Oh, damn. Yeah, here, this is the story right here. Okay. They have a documentary about this brother on PBS. I suggest that if you can, go watch it. It is sad. It's just like that story, the rape of Reese Taylor. It's sad. It'll make you cry, right? It'll bring tears to your eyes to see just how they treated black. Oh, that's another thing. Just how they treated black veterans when they came home from the war. Now, this was after World War II, right? This was after World War II. But there was another incident. It just made me think about the drafts in New York, right? After World War I. The draft riots in New York after World War I, right? It made me think about that. We're going to go into that in just a second. Let's get Isaac Woodard, right? All right. This says in 1946, which was the year after V-Day in Germany, right? 1946. Isaac Woodard, a black Army sergeant on his way home to South Carolina after serving in World War II, was pulled from a bus for arguing with the driver. The local chief of police savagely beat him, leaving him unconscious and permanently blind. Y'all see that? This was a brother who served America in the war in World War II in 1945. He was a sergeant in the Army. He comes back home. Now, keep this in mind. When he's on the bus, guess what he's wearing? If I can get a picture. When he's on that bus, guess what he's wearing? Give me a second. Salaki, hold on. Just bear with me. He's on that bus, and this is what he's wearing. Can y'all see that? Y'all see that? He has on his military dress uniform. That's what that brother's wearing. And it's said here in the story that when he was on the bus headed back to racist South Carolina, after he was just in the war fighting for America, he got into an argument with the bus driver. Let me hip you to something. When it says argument, it doesn't mean that he was, arguing like how you and I think. It doesn't mean that he was yelling at this white bus driver. That's not what the arguing means. When it says that Isaac Woodard was arguing with this bus driver, it means that he simply just said, he just talked back. The bus driver asked his brother, well, get up, nigga, move over here. But what about my uniform? I got this uniform on. What did you say to me? Did you backtalk me? That's the arguing that the oppressor calls arguing. Like this oppressor, like he is the devil the Bible speaks of. He is oh my God, he is sick. He makes you sick. Our oppressor. This brother who has on a uniform, an American service uniform, this is after World War II. This brother gets on a bus to go back home to South Carolina. The bus driver sees a brother in a uniform and just couldn't leave him be. He had to bother the brother. So now the brother, being a man, I don't want to get up. That white bus driver took that as an argument. And so what did they proceed to do after that, the quote unquote argument? It says he was pulled from a bus for arguing with the local chief of police. So they threw the brother off of the bus. They threw him off of the bus. And it said that the local chief of police savagely beat him, leaving him unconscious and permanently blind. The shocking incident made national headlines. And when the police chief was acquitted by an all-white jury, the blatant injustice would change the course of American history. The event also ultimately set the stage for the Supreme Court's landmark decision of Brown versus Board of Education, which finally outlawed segregation. Good night. They think that that's another topic. Your black leaders are terrible, man. They think that the Brown versus Board of Education was justice, was okay. We see black people getting beat. So what are we going to do? We're going to allow their children to integrate with white kids. Brother, I don't know what black Christians consider progress. So I don't. This brother was just savagely, did you read that? I just read it said savagely beaten. This brother, Isaac Woodard, who was a World War II veteran for America, he came back home proud in his army dress uniform. He was simply trying to ride the bus to get home to South Carolina. And what happened to him? He was beat so badly, so savagely, that he went blind. He went blind. And this sparked an outrage. And what did your black leaders do? They gave you Brown versus Board of Education. Oh boy, we got to get out of here. This place is going to drive you insane. This brother was beaten, and their course of action was to let your children go to school with their children. Yeah, go serve America if you want to. You know, what the hell? What do I know? You want to go serve America? You want to go put on a stupid, ugly dress uniform and go and fight for your country? Be my guest, Doc. Be my guest. But don't forget about Isaac Woodard. Don't forget about this brother, right? Don't forget that this brother, he also thought. So, like, what did the sister say? Hold on. What did she say? She said he was beaten, and they said, let's be around them even more. Give the sister a hand. Finally, thank you, Sister Mariam. Somebody understands what's going on here. Because I thought I was going insane. I thought I was going crazy out of my goddamn mind because I'm trying to figure out Isaac Woodard was beat for being in the military. Okay, he was beat with a uniform on, a dress uniform, an army dress uniform on. And then right after it happened, your black leaders said, well, shit, they beat him. Well, let's, you know what the problem is, right? All of these white people beating all of these black men with service uniforms. You know what we need to do? We should integrate our children to their children. Our children need to go to their schools. Because a brother was savagely beat by a white man, your course of action, your response is to be around them even more, like the sister said. That is what your goal in life is, to be around your slave master more. Brother, we are sick. We have a mental illness called Stockholm Syndrome. This man beats you, rapes you, destroys you, hurts you, enslaves you. You fight for him in his military. You come home proud in his uniform. He beats you some more. And then what do you say? We need to love white people more. Brother, I can't be a Christian. It's going to make your head explode. Okay? That's Stockholm Syndrome, brother. And it is a sickness like no other. I mean, it is, you know who will identify with Stockholm Syndrome? All of you stupid bitches who think Cassie is innocent in that whole Diddy versus Cassie or Diddy case. You women out there in the world, of course, you identify with Cassie because you see a victim. You see a victim. Well, this is all I'm asking you as a priest and prophet of God under Commander General Yahanna. When you see blacks and Hispanics, you should see a victim the same way you see a victim in Cassie. You see Cassie as a victim because she has Stockholm Syndrome. You say she was manipulated, she was abused, and she only went along with it because of the fear of her life. Well, listen, you should see blacks and Hispanics the same way. We are simply victims of America. That's all we are. We're victims of America. We're not American. There is no black person in America that is American, because if we're American, then why did this happen to us and not white soldiers? Why weren't white soldiers who came home from World War II, why weren't they savagely beaten? Why weren't they told to get off of the bus? If America really loved its black soldiers, then why does Donald Trump remove the history of black soldiers, of the Navajo Code Talkers, of Jackie Robinson, of the Army General Glenn? Why does he remove in the Smithsonian Museum all of the black culture, art, and history? If we're so American, if blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians are so American, and this is our country too, why does America deport the Mexicans? Why? Why did this brother, Isaac Woodard, why did he get savagely beat? You want to know why? Because we're not American, brother. We're not. As All Oppressor celebrates his Memorial Day, don't go serving this country so that you could be someone that he will not memorialize. You're going to serve your oppressor's military, and then the year after you die in Afghanistan, You think that America is going to honor you. They are not going to honor you. They're going to forget about you, just like they forgot about the Navajo Code Talkers, just like they forgot about Isaac Woodard and Jackie Robinson and the Harlem Hellfighters and the Buffalo Soldiers and the Gadite Warriors. They're going to forget all about you. Listen, did you know this? As I'm studying Civil War history, did you know that not Andrew Jackson, Ulysses S. Grant, right? Ulysses S. Grant, before he became president, he earned that because of the fighting style that he mastered in the Civil War. Ulysses S. Grant. And he, on the day that, not Jefferson Davis, on the day that Robert E. Lee surrendered to Ulysses S. Grant and the United States in the Union Army in 1868 in Appomattox, Virginia, there was a Gadite warrior named Quinai Parker who fought in the Union Army to free slaves. Do you understand? The Native American Indians fought in the Civil War for Black people. They fought for the Union. They fought for America. And how does America honor them? By putting them on reservations. Right after Quinai Parker was in the same courthouse as Ulysses S. Grant and Robert E. Lee for the surrender, his people went on reservations for 100 years. That is how America memorializes their Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian service members. They memorialize you and remember you by forgetting about you, by mistreating you, by unaliving you, by abusing you. That's how your oppressor does it. That's how he does it. Listen, I have a better plan for Black people. Do I have time? Let's see what else I had. Oh, let's see. Let's go into Baruch. Right? We're going to finish off with Baruch. All right. Let's go to Baruch, right? We're in Baruch chapter 3, verse 4. Right? Baruch chapter 3, verse 4. Now, you want to honor your people? No sweat, no sweat. You honor your people, brothers and sisters. You want to honor the dead? Listen, that brother Isaac Woodard, he deserves to be remembered. He deserves to be remembered. All of those Quinai Parker and those North American Indians who fought to help the slaves get free, who fought after the Civil War to end slavery for the Negroes, the Mexicans in Mexico who gave Black people freedom when they crossed the Mexican border. When you were a Black Seminole Indian or a Negro slave, if you were to cross the border into Mexico in the 1800s, the Mexican government gave you land, they gave you a home, and they gave you your freedom, right? They deserve to be honored. La Raza, right? Those brothers and sisters who fought and who died in the American military, they deserve your honor. They deserve your remembrance. They deserve to be remembered. They deserve those tears. They deserve your lamentation. They deserve it because those were men of honor. As a matter of fact, before we go to Baruch, let's go to Ecclesiasticus, right? Before we get to Baruch, I'm jumping the gun. Don't let me jump the gun. Let's get to Ecclesiasticus. What do I want? 26 and 28. That's what I want. Let's go to Ecclesiasticus chapter 26, verse 28. All right. Listen, you want to remember the brothers and sisters who died for this country? You want to do that? That's a wonderful thing. You're better than your oppressor, right? But this is the message that I want to give to brothers and sisters. If you're a young Black or Hispanic, you're a young North American Indian, and you want to fight for this country, you want to go and join the Marine Corps, the Air Force, the Navy, the Marines, the Army, the Coast Guard, you better remember who's in charge of America. You better remember that there are wicked men like Donald Trump. Did y'all know Donald Trump is a draft dodger? Donald Trump drafted the war in Vietnam in the 1960s. He drafted the war. He dodged the draft because he had bone spurs. You know what bone spurs are? That means your feet hurt. Meanwhile, there have men who graduate from buds with broken femurs. There are men who graduated from buds with broken feet and limbs and arms. SIP. SIP is a disease or a condition you can get in buds For those who don't know, BUDS, it stands for Basic Underwater Demolition School. It's where every Navy SEAL who's an aspiring Navy SEAL goes in Coronado, California, and that cold ass water. The water's so cold, you're swimming your goddamn mind out, and you going when it's cold, and you swimming all the goddamn time, and you swim so much you can get something called SIP, which is like something that's worse than pneumonia. There are men who went through BUDS who broke femurs, and they still became soldiers. There are brothers who went through Army basic training who broke their feet and still went on and fought against America's enemies in the war. Donald Trump couldn't go to the war, though. Why? Because his feet hurt. Donald Trump is a wicked bastard who never requires from himself what he requires from the men who fight and die for him. He's a draft dodger who dodged the Vietnam War, and he will never understand the honor that a soldier has. He will never understand the sacrifice that a soldier makes. He will never understand that. And so as you're a young brother or sister, and on Memorial Day, you're thinking about, man, I need to go serve America. You better think about all of the brothers and sisters who died for this country, who this country does not remember. And this is what I want you to understand. This is Ecclesiasticus chapter 26 and verse 28. There be two things that grieve my heart, and the third maketh me angry, a man of war that suffereth poverty. Brother, let me tell you something. You see all of those brothers from the Vietnam War that Donald Trump did dodge? There are brothers who fought in the Vietnam War. There are white men who fought in the Vietnam War. There are Asians and Africans, and there are people who fought in the Vietnam War for America. And now they sleep under a bridge. Now they have to get denied the access to health care from Veteran Affairs, from the VA. They try to go down to the VA hospital and they tell them to come back. They tell them you're not eligible because this is not service connected. The Bible says this, brother, there be two things that grieve my heart, and the third maketh me angry, a man of war that suffereth poverty. Let me tell you something about a man of war. Commanding General Yahanna knows just what to do with a man of war. You're a brother out there and you want to serve something that's greater than yourself, then you come into the Israelite School of UPK. Because when you're done with your service, you will be honored. You won't be sleeping under a bridge. You won't be going and begging the VA for health care and medical care and vision and dental care, and then they deny you. They deny you. You're poor, in poverty. You're dying on drugs after you served a country, after you served your country, after you will risk your life for this place. They tell you that that's not service connected. They tell you that now you don't qualify and you're a Vietnam veteran. Do you know what the Vietnam veterans had to endure? Do you know the war, the pain, and the mental anguish that the Vietnam War caused those brothers and sisters, the brothers who fought in the Vietnam War, the white men who fought in the Vietnam War, the PTSD they have now, the suicides that increased after those soldiers came home because those disabilities weren't service connected. The Bible says that God said that these things hurt his heart to see a man of war in poverty. There's a way that you treat a man that's willing to die and defend your freedoms. Donald Trump doesn't know how to treat men of war. Commanding General Yahanna does, because he reads the Bible and he follows the Bible. He knows how to treat men of war. He knows that this brother can't go homeless after he served his country. These brothers that were in the oppressor's military are homeless. I want to say, let's look that up. Let's look that up. What is the homeless rate of veterans? I guarantee you it's going to blow your goddamn mind. And then after we look that up, let's look up what is the suicide rate for veterans, right? This is what it says. Yeesh, just like I knew. Just like I knew. This is what it says. Let's get it on the screen. Hold on, give me 1 second. Homeless rate for veterans. It says in January of 2024, there were 32,882 to veterans experiencing homelessness in the United States. Damn. Damn. You go and fight and lose your limbs. There are men and women that come back from the war, brothers who come back from war without legs, without an arm, without ears, who got shot in the face, shot in the eye, who was shot in the arm, who doesn't have functions of their entire body, who can't feel certain parts of their body from all of the bullet wounds. And what does America do? 40,000 of them go homeless. 40,000 go homeless because America doesn't know how to treat the people who died for them. America doesn't know how to treat the people who sacrificed their lives for them. You know what America is going to do? They're going to require your sacrifice. And when you come home from war, that's it. You don't get a parade. You don't get a celebration. You don't get a lifetime benefits that will help you and your family. That old GI Bill, VA, that is a lie. Don't you ever let you young brothers out there who's like, man, I'm gonna join the military. I'm gonna go to the army so I can get me a Dodge Charger and so I can use a GI Bill to go to college. Nigga, just go to college. Don't go to the military to go to college. Just go to college. You would at least keep your honor. You will at least keep your dignity. You won't have to go and serve a wicked man for 4 years of your life, 5 years of your life, 9 years of your life, 20 years of your life, and then come home and then those people not know how to serve you. You serve them. Now it's their turn to serve you. They tell you, forget about it. They tell you it's not service connected. They tell you there's nothing we can do about that. So now you go homeless. Now you become one of those 33,000 homeless veterans. America doesn't know how to treat the people who serve them. That's why they beat Isaac Woodard. Isaac Woodard, a black man who served in their military fighting for this country. They didn't know how to treat the Buffalo Soldiers. They didn't know how to treat the Harlem Hell fighters, know how to treat the slaves who built the country, the Mexicans who build America, who pick their grapes, who pick their bananas and apples and make it so that bananas are not $10 a pound. They don't know how to treat them. Our oppressor doesn't know how to treat the people who serve them, who give their lives for them. But brother, there is somebody who does. There's somebody who will appreciate you with honor. His name is Commanding General Yahanna. You're some brother or sister who's looking to give your allegiance to America. You better come and serve the Most High God of the Bible. Serve the God of your forefathers. That's what you better do in the I.S.U.P.K. Because if you do not, you're going to end up serving a wicked man who will never know how to repay you for your service. Let's keep going. Okay, I'm done with that one. Let's go back to the scripture. All right. Let's go back to Ecclesiasticus, chapter 26 and verse 28. A men of understanding that are not set by, and one that returneth from righteousness to sin. The Lord prepares such as one for the sword. Just like someone who goes from being an honorable man to a sinner, it's the same grief the Lord experiences whenever someone is not properly taken care of, who fights for a country who hates them. A man of war that suffereth poverty. It's America's job to take care of their veterans. It's America's job to make sure that their veterans don't go homeless, to make sure the people who serve their country have what they need to survive. America cut 80,000 VA jobs in the last 2 months, told veterans to go home. I thought America loved their veterans. I thought America is going to celebrate Memorial Day tomorrow by firing up a grill and by pledging allegiance to the flag and loving America. I thought they loved America. I thought America loved their veterans. America just fired 80,000 veterans. They fired them, meaning what? Those 80,000 veterans are going to go homeless because they won't have a job. Some of those veterans were working in their jobs for 30, 40 years, 20 years, 15 years. And then they get furloughed like that. They get dropped like a bad habit because America doesn't know how to treat the men and women who serve them. But Commander General Yahanna does. Let's see what the sister said. She said, that's like Brian Brown Easley, who held up a bank because the VA stopped his check so he couldn't take care of his child. Damn. Not to mention he had PTSD. They killed him. Damn. Well, listen, give the sister a hand. I never even heard of that story. We'll have to go into that story another time, but that is heavy, man. That is heavy. Wow, his name was Brian Brown Easley. Now, sis, was he a brother? Was this Brian Brown Easley a brother? I'm assuming he's a brother. This brother, Brian Brown Easley, who was a veteran. And listen, they make movies about this. They have a movie about it right now called Warfare. I want to say it comes out next week. They have movies that show just the incompetence, the level of incompetence that America entreats their veterans with, the mistreatment of their veterans. They have movies about it. Where there's some brother, there was a good one called, what was it called? It was so good, and it was based on a true story. It says, it was he was a black man. Okay, damn. Listen, brother, we're going to remember that brother. We will remember that brother. And I'm going to get into just a second how we're going to remember them. There's a movie about him. Damn. Sister says, sis, I just read on that. Happens to our damn. Now, here you are thinking to pledge allegiance to America and join their military. Here you are thinking that you're going to do something honorable and noble. And when you get discharged, you're going to go homeless. America will forget all about you. They're going to forget about your service. That's what the movie was called. The movie was called Thank You for Your Service. That's what the movie, you go look that up too. I'm going to check this movie out about the brother, Brian Brown Easley. I'm going to read up on it. I'm going to watch that movie. And listen, I'm going to pray for that brother. And we're going to remember him today. We're going to remember him not just on Memorial Day. We're not just going to remember Isaac Woodard on Memorial Day. We're not just going to remember Emmett Till on Memorial Day. We're not just going to remember George Steiny, the youngest person in America to ever be executed because 4 little white girls lied on him and said that he molested them at 12 years old. They put him to death at 13. The youngest man, the youngest boy to ever die, the youngest child to ever be executed in America. We won't just remember George Steiny Jr. on Memorial Day. We're going to remember him every day. And I'm going to show you in just a second how. But back to what I was saying. You're going to join the oppressor's military, and then you're going to become Brian Brown Easley. That's going to be you. You're going to go and you're going to go to the, what is it called? Y'all help me out. All of these veterans on here, all of these shipmates. Listen, you sisters, y'all remember they used to call sisters female when you were a recruit? How did that make you feel? You sisters, listen, you sisters, just like all of you brothers, y'all need to tell y'all story of the oppressor's military, how it damaged you. You remember all of that goddamn sapper they used to teach us in the oppressor's military, all of the sexual assault that went on in the oppressor's military, all of the drug addiction that goes on in the oppressor's military. And here our children are thinking that you're doing an honorable job. You're doing a great job serving America. America's going to get you hooked on drugs, opiates, just like they did the Vietnam veterans. And then when you come home, they won't even thank you for your service. You're going to be Brian Brown Easley. You understand? Veterans Affairs Office. Veterans Affairs Office. Yeah, Con. Yeah. The Veterans Affairs Office is going to deny you affairs. You understand? They're going to say, well, listen, yeah, I get that you did 15 years in the Navy SEALs. I know you were a goddamn Navy SEAL and you killed everybody America told you to kill. I know you were an ABE. I know you were a goddamn MA. I know you were a, what is the Army's MOS is for? What is it? 18 X-ray. I know you were an 18 X-ray. I know you were an 18 Delta, but listen, it's not service connected. It just, you were shot. I get you were shot. Okay, I know you were shot and you lost feeling and now you can't walk, but it's not service connected, right? America doesn't know how to treat its veterans. America doesn't know how to honor the people who serve them, like the slaves. They don't know how to honor them. They forget about you. They forget about you. They throw you away like an old piece of paper. You asked what the name was. Oh, that's the name of the movie. Oh, damn. The name of the movie is called Veterans Affairs Office. Listen, it's hardcore. The stories I have, but we can't say anything until we're out. Yes, sis, listen, write a book, sis. Write a book. You're going to become New York Times bestseller. If you were to talk about the things that happened in the oppressor's military, and this is why it's so important. Remember, I read earlier, the Bible says, remember the days of old. God is not the God of forgetting. He doesn't want you to forget. You've suffered injustices under your oppressor. You need to let everyone know so that they don't follow your mistake. I warn young brothers all the time. I come across some young fool, some young brother. He's not a fool. He's just a young brother who's impressionable like me. And I can see the excitement of him when he goes, oh, that's what, okay, Salakia. The water. You asked what the name of the office was. The water. Give her a hand. Salakia, Most High Christ. Veterans Affairs Office. No. I'm not talking about the Veterans Affairs Office. I'm talking about where you go to dep in. What is that called? That's not the Veterans Affairs Office, sis. What is that place called where you go and you where you had to dep in? It's called a recruiter's office. Okay, recruiter's office. That's what it is. You see those young brothers and sisters who are happy to be in the oppressor's military. They go into the recruiter's office and they're like, yeah, man, I'm doing something with my life. Listen, it is your obligation to say, listen, you can go to college. You don't need that GI Bill. And what you sisters should do, you don't have to tell them about personal experiences, but you better tell them about all of the sexual assault that happens in the oppressor's military. It happens so much. I think they said in our sapper class when I was in, they said it was 3 out of 4 women, 3 out of 4 women, or 3 out of 4 sailors. They didn't use the word women, but they said 3 out of 4 female sailors were sexually assaulted in their career in the military. Damn. Now, as a woman, why in the hell would you want to join that? That's what you got to tell the young sisters. Baby girl. What Drake song say? Baby girl, baby girl, baby girl. Don't join the oppressor's military. Those men in there are sexual deviants. They're deviants. They're like P. Diddy. Do you see what P. Diddy did to women? That's what's going to happen to you in the oppressor's military if you join. Are you a brother, a young black man, and you want to join the oppressor's military? Have you heard of Isaac Woodard? Have you heard of Brian Brown Easley? Have you heard of Jackie Robinson's record being erased? Did you hear how America forgot about the Navajo Code Talkers? Why do you want to join somewhere that's going to forget you when you're done with their service? Even all of these white special forces, special operations cats, they get on podcasts and say, when I left the military, the VA treated me terribly. I fought in Fallujah. I fought in Iraq. I fought in Afghanistan. I gave my life and limb for this country, and now my disability is not service connected. Your oppressor is the devil the Bible speaks of. And if you are going to serve him, he's never going to give you that honor in return. He's never going to give you that what you need in return. He's not going to do it because he doesn't know how to treat people who help him. Our oppressor like Donald Trump. You think Donald Trump knows how to reward veterans? He fired the veterans. Thank you for your service. You're fired. That's how your oppressor treats veterans, but not the Most High God. Not the Most High God. He said that it is sad. It hurts his heart to see a man of war in poverty. God knows how to take care of brothers and sisters who fight for him. Commander General Yahanna does. Commander General Yahanna knows just what to do with you brothers who are warriors, brother. You will never go homeless. Are you kidding me? You think you come in here and serve the Most High God, our King Yahushua, and you think Commanding General Yahanna will let you go homeless? You think you will have to wait in a plasma line to donate plasma just so you can pay your bills like so many veterans? Commanding General Yahanna will never let that happen because he knows how to take care of people who help him, who help the Most High God. He knows how to honor them, man. The white man does not. Our oppressor does not. You want to remember veterans. You want to remember your dead. This is how you do it, black man. This is how you do it. Let's go. Let's get to Baruch. Let's go to Baruch chapter 3, verse 4. Oh, that's 5. Baruch chapter 3, verse 4. Let's get it, man. Yeah, that's what I need right there. Here we go. Baruch chapter 3, verse 4. O Lord Almighty, thou power of Israel, hear now the prayers of the dead Israelites and of their children, which have sinned before thee, and not hearkened unto the voice of thee their power, for the which cause these plagues cleave unto us. Listen, brother, if you want to remember, honor the brothers and sisters who died, this is step 1. Excuse me. This is step 1. Step 1 is first, you have to acknowledge that the brothers and sisters, the slaves, our foreparents, they died sinners. That's what they did. They died sinners, right? Our people, brother, I was speaking about this at camp yesterday. There is such a demon. There is such a principality that we fight against. here in the UPK as priests that keeps our people slaves under the oppressor, that keeps our people with Stockholm syndrome. There's a fight, there's a good fight that we have to endure in the UPK to convince our people that they are better than everyone else. That's a fight in itself. To convince our people not to celebrate our oppressors' holidays, to not join our oppressors' military. That's a fight, and it's a fight we endure daily. It's a war, a battle that the men of God under Commander General Yahanna, it's what we do every day. And we have to convince our people through camps and classes and going to war with that demon that, listen, brother, you are the best man on the face of the earth. Sister, you are the best woman on the earth. You Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian, you're God's chosen people. God's chosen people, the Lord requires of them a sacrifice. And that sacrifice is his law. And we are supposed to keep his law. But because of our slavery and because of our oppression and because of serving America and our Stockholm syndrome, we don't serve the Most High God. Most High Christ, my Lord. Most High Christ, sir. Yahweh Shemi Al-Shah Barakatha. We don't serve the Most High God. Thanks to our wicked leaders like T.D. Jakes and Creflo Dollar and Dr. King, who teach us God loves you no matter what. We don't serve God. We sin against him, and we die without the knowledge of knowing we're the Israelites. We die without the knowledge of knowing we're God's chosen people. We die. And this brother Baruch, this prophet Baruch, which is Barak in the Hebrew, he said this. This is a prayer, by the way. He said, O Lord Almighty, thou power of Israel, hear now the prayers of the dead Israelites. But you know, in their ignorance, do you know what our foremothers and forefathers died? You know, when they died in slavery, you know what they were doing? They were praying for us. They were praying for the next generation of Black people. They were praying. I got a book here. I mean, I will goddamn cry if I read it out loud. There's so many books in history. Can y'all see that? No, you cannot. Right? I have a book here, and it's the classic slave narratives book. These books about slavery are starting to depress me in my research of slaves and our history. To learn our history is sad. The history of the Bible and the history now in modern time, it's sad. It will just bring you to tears, because to think that our foremothers who are, I can't even talk about it now. To think that our foremothers were, while they were being raped by a slave master, while our forefathers backs were being whipped, the skin was being whipped off of our forefathers' backs, they still thought of their posterity. They still prayed to the Most High God to help us so that we were not slaves. It's passages in this book from slave narratives where they said, my mother or my father, even though I was separated from my family, when I found my family again, when I got word from my family again, the only thing that they could think of was God keeping me safe. Brother, that's enough to bring me to tears. Think about the North American Indian on the reservation, how they were separated from their families. The North American Indian had to pray to the Most High God for God to keep them safe. The Mexicans on the border right now of America and Mexico, who are living in the dog cages that America built to separate Mexican families, to separate the La Raza, separate Issachar. They're wondering, those babies are wondering, where are my parents? Where is my mommy? Where is my daddy? There was an image of a brother. I'm not going to put it on the screen because, I mean, it would tear you apart. It would tear you to pieces to see the brother, the Mexican brother, who died with his daughter in his arms to cross the border to come to America. Our forefathers' lives were rigor, were brick and mortar, were violence, were getting whipped, getting raped, getting beat, getting abused. And in that slavery, they still thought to pray for their children. They still thought to make sure that I don't want my children to live like this. I don't want them to be separated from me. I don't want them to have to endure this oppression that I've endured. This happened even during the time of Baruch, the prophet. This is not during slavery, what we're reading right now. Baruch chapter 3, verse 4, this wasn't in antebellum America. This wasn't in Mississippi. This wasn't in Maryland. This wasn't in Georgia. This happened during the time of the Greeks. Do you understand how far back this goes? Do you understand how long it's been that our people have been oppressed, that our people have had Stockholm syndrome and have died and were enslaved and were whipped and were forced to eat swine's flesh? You see how far back this goes? This goes back to the Bible, young man. This goes back to Baruch and the Apocrypha. And he said, "O Lord Almighty, thou God of Israel, hear now the prayers of the dead Israelites and of their children, which have sinned before thee." Have we sinned before the Most High God? Hell yeah, we have. Yes, we have. Since the beginning, we've sinned against our God. Since Eve in the garden, we've sinned against our God. But let me tell you something, like a good father, the Most High God have given us mercy. He's given us mercy. He's given us a time of grace, a time to get right with him, a time so that we, listen, the greatest thing our king, so like the greatest thing that our power, the Most High God did for us was giving us Christ, giving us Yahushua Mashiach. He sent his only begotten son so that he would be the ultimate sacrifice, just so you can get right with the Most High, just so you can put down the blunt, just so you can stop having sex outside of your race, just so you can stop sinning against God. The Most High God did that for us, brother. That was his ultimate showing of love for us, was Christ. And what do? We want to serve America? We want to join the white man's military? I'm not going to make that mistake, because I know a man that was more worthy than me, who died, who was not supposed to die. He died for me. So now I have to live for him. Now I have to go and be like Christ. I have to be perfect like my Father in heaven is perfect. I can't serve America. I can't do it. I can't make the same mistake as Isaac Woodard. I can't make the same mistake as my foreparents. I have to now wake my people up so that we don't make the same mistakes of our forefathers, so that we could serve God in sincerity and in honor and in truth. I have a burden to do that. I have a job to do that. Everyone understand? I have to remember the prayers of the dead Israelites. I have to remember the prayers of the slaves who died in slavery, so that their children would not be slaves. I have to think about the prayer of Christ when he said, "Father, Father, if it be so, let this cup pass from me." And what do? Get high? Have sex with whores? Serve your oppressor and his military, knowing that a man like Christ, who is the most perfect man to ever live, he died in your position? How are you honoring Christ? By getting high? By going to church? Is that what you're doing? Nah, man, in the UPK, we're not going to do that. We're not going to do that. We're going to remember the prayers of the dead Israelites. We're asking the Most High God to remember their prayers. Remember the prayers of Trayvon Martin. Remember the prayers of Reese Taylor and of the slaves. Remember the prayers of George Steiny. Could you imagine a 14-year-old boy in the electric chair praying out to God? He doesn't even know what's happening, God. He doesn't even know what's going on. Here he is about to be put to death at 14 for something he doesn't even do. Brother, you better remember the prayers of the dead Israelites. You better pray to the Most High God to remember their prayers. Remember them. Let's keep going. Salakia. And of their children and of their kids, which have sinned before thee, and not hearkened unto the voice of their power. For the which cause these plagues cleave unto us. These plagues are caused from us sinning against our power, against sinning against God. All of the destruction that we face, all of the oppression that we're under, all of the death that we suffer, the death of the crack epidemic, the death of the AIDS epidemic, the death of the abortion and Planned Parenthood epidemic, those things we suffer for our disobedience to God. You want to honor your dead, black man, do you? You want to honor your dead, black woman? You care about your brothers and your sisters who are dead in the grave? Do you care about the brothers and sisters who came before you, who had their backs whipped, who had to endure great trial, who had to endure great travail, who had to endure great oppression and slavery. You want to remember them? Well, here's step one. You have to first obey God. That's step one. You have to first stop sinning against God. That is step one. That's how you honor your dead. That's step one. You have someone that deserves your honor, someone that's dead in your life that deserves your honor. Well, listen, you want to honor them? You better live for the Most High God. You better serve Christ. Do you understand? You better put that pork down, put that shrimp down, put that blunt down, leave white women alone, stop voting, turn your back on America like it's turned its back on you, and you better live for the Most High God. That's what you better do. Let's keep going. Verse 5, remember not the iniquities of our forefathers, but think upon thy power and thy name now at this time. This is a prayer that the prophet Baruch is praying to the Most High God. And like every prophet, this is so important to remember. Like every prophet, their job is to intercede for us. Their job is to be on our defense, right? We're the Israelites. We sin against God. What is a prophet's job? Oh Lord, I know we've sinned against you. I know these people are hard-headed and stiff-necked, but oh God, please forget their iniquities. Please forget our sin. Please forgive us for what we've done. Remember when Christ was asked, how do you pray? When they asked Christ, my Lord, how do you pray? In Matthew chapter 6, verse 9 through 13, he said, our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. Forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. Christ showed us that the Most High God is a heavenly Father. He's a Father. Before Christ, the only way we really understood the Most High was a terrible power. We didn't know he had mercy. We didn't understand, you understand that he was a perfect Father who gives you a chance, who helps you, who loves you, who forgives you. That's what a perfect Father does. You think a perfect father holds grudges against their kids? A perfect father sees the sin of their child, the disobedience of their child, and they give their child another chance. They say, okay, I punished him enough. Now let me see if he can get it right this time. That's the Most High God, our Father who art in heaven. He's our Father, man. And prophets of God, their job is to pray and say, oh Father, oh God, forgive us. Forgive us. We've committed sin against you, but we want you to remember the prayers of the dead Israelites. We want you to remember their honor. We want you to remember Reese Taylor. We want you to remember George Floyd. We want you to remember Emmett Till. We want you to remember the Taino Indian. We want you to remember the Arawak. We want you to remember the Arapaho and the Cheyenne and the Cherokee. We want you to remember the Mexicans. We want you to remember the El Salvadorians. We want you to remember the tribe of Benjamin and the Haitians, the tribe of Levi. Oh God, forgive us, save us, help us, keep us, watch over us, defend us because we're defenseless. That's the job of a prophet. That's the job of men of God. It's to, on our behalf, on the children of Israel's behalf, ask God to forgive us. Ask God to help us. Ask God to save us. He's our Father. He can defend us. He's our Father. He can help us. He's our Father. Only he can show us his love. Everyone understand? In order for you to earn that defense, in order for us to earn that salvation, in order for us to earn the right for God to remember our foremothers and forefathers, we have to live for the Most High God, brothers. We have to honor the Most High God with our actions, with our lives, the way Christ did. Does everyone understand? So if you want to keep remembrance, Barakatha Yahweh Shah says, if you want to remember the brothers and sisters, you got a father that's dead, a mother that's dead, great men and women in your life, brothers and sisters from the past, our foremothers and forefathers. You want to keep them in honor? You want to remember them with dignity? You want to remember them in sincerity? The first step is honoring the Most High God with your life. The first step is to keep God's laws. The first step is to keep the laws, statutes, and commandments of the Most High. That's what we have to do. Because if not, God will not remember the dead Israelites. God will never remember George Floyd. He won't remember Trayvon Martin. They will just have died in vain. the slaves would have just died in vain. But you better thank God for commanding General Yahanna, because he has raised up men and is raising up men who will fight the good fight, who won't allow our foremothers and our forefathers to die in vain. Our oppressor, he's going to forget about us. He wipes away any memory of us in the oppressor's military, even though Memorial Day is to honor the dead veterans. No sweat, white man. You're our enemy. He's supposed to do that. Our oppressor is our enemy. He's not supposed to remember what you've done for him. But you know who does remember? The Most High God does. He remembers the death of our people. He remembers the blood of the slaves cry out to the Most High God. The blood of Trayvon Martin and Emmett Till, it cries out to the Most High God. And he said, remember the days of old, which means what? God will never forget what happened to our people. God will never forget what happened to the Taino Indian. God will never forget what happened during the Spanish conquistadors when they came to Mexico with Cortez and those brothers. They will never forget. God will never forget them. God will never forget your father, sis. He will never forget your mother. He will never forget your uncle. He will never forget your family. He will never forget us. But we have to do something for him. And you know what that is? We got to live for him, brother. That's what we have to do. We have to live for the Lord. And that you can only achieve by coming into the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge under commanding General Yahanna. That's where you start right there. If you're a brother or sister in this area, in this region, I want you to call 913-730-0659. That number is 913-730-0659. You come into the I.S.U.P.K. and you learn how to serve the Most High God so that your life won't be forgotten about, so that your life will be honored, so that the Most High God will hear your prayers. That's what you need to do. You come in here, you call that number, you get in class, you put on your all black. If you're a sister, you wrap your head, you wear the dress, you close your mouth, and you come in here and you learn how to serve the Most High God. And with that, Imagine, which means to stand, just me. All right. All right. We are the I.S.U.P.K, started out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York. Rule for new brother and sister. When a new brother or sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to share themselves of the world. If they need transportation, the teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There is another 6 months in which the brother and sister will court each other. After this 6-month period, the brother and sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment. Numbers chapter 18, verse 21. Malachi chapter 3, verse 8 through 10 means 10th in the Hebrew, ma'ashara, 10% of every penny of any increase the Most High gives you, give to the treasury department or teacher. Priest fund, free will offering for priests, not mandatory. Whatsoever amount you would like. Upcoming holy convocation. I believe the closing. We are currently in the Feast of First Fruits. And I believe I can stand up straight. What the hell am I doing? It's lucky. I'm leaning over like this camera's down. We are currently in the Feast of First Fruits. And I believe the closing of the Feast of First Fruits is June the 8th. So remember that. All right. Now, remind Akim and Akwaf to check the bulletin board in the hallway. The bulletin board in the schools or physical building or in the physical schools. If you're a brother or sister and you're online watching class, if you go to the school's website or you go to your school's link tree in your location, you will see all of the information that you need. Anything you need, you got the High Holy Day flyers, you have the upcoming cookout locations, dates. That's all on our link tree. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe to these UPK channels, man. Those are the new bulletin boards online. Everyone understand. If anyone wants to be a trooper in the school, start wearing all black. Boots, shirt, pants, headband, and war scarf. With that, I imagine, which means to stand. Men of Israel, we're going to give one courtesy salute to the brothers. Men of Israel, I imagine Shabbat. I imagine Barak. Yahabah Shemi Awashah Thumb. Yajimatah Sar. Face the sisters. Men of Israel, we're going to give one courtesy salute to the sisters. Men of Israel, I imagine Shabbat. I imagine Barak. Yahweh Shamar Alathun Bahashemi Awashah. Yajimatah. Dismissed.